Hi everyone, today we're going to be talking about the Mandalorian and what Jedi will end up training the child. So obviously this video is going to contain spoilers for the Mandalorian and Star Wars Rebels, so if you don't want to hear the spoilers, turn the video off. But so obviously Ahsoka, she's already refused to train the child, but there is a possibility that she could reconsider. But technically she's not a Jedi because she left the Jedi Order. But there we go. So the next person it could be is Mace Windu, because some people think that Mace Windu didn't actually die when Palpatine, used Force Lightning on him and chucked him out of the window on Coruscant. Some people think he might have survived by landing on a taxi or something like that. Or maybe he did die and the child actually ends up getting trained by Mace Windu's ghost. Or it could be a ghost of a totally different Jedi. We'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. But there are rumours of a Mace Windu TV show coming out. I mean, remember, The Mandalorian is set before The Force Awakens, so it is entirely possible that Luke could end up training the child. But Mark Hamill has showed no interest in reprising his role, so the rumour is that Sebastian Stan, who plays the Winter Soldier in the Marvel movies, might actually take on the role of Luke. I'm not sure how I feel about that, because to me, Mark Hamill is Luke. You can't change the actor. It's like Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. You can't really change the actor for him. Third Jedi it could be. Well, I say third Jedi, I think I've mentioned more than 3 now, but this character is called Yaddle, and she was on the Jedi Council the same time as Yoda. And obviously she's the same species as Yoda, and Grogu, the child, as well, so that would be the obvious choice to train Grogu. Because in Legends she was actually killed, but in canon she hasn't been killed, so there we go. Next up, it could be the ghost of the Outlander from Star Wars The Old Republic that ends up training Grogu. Or somehow the Outlander survived for all of these years and he or she is really old. Like ancient, and the Force has just kept the Outlander alive somehow. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, the Outlander's Legends, though. Well, this is a perfect opportunity to make the Outlander canon, though. I like to think that the canon version of the Outlander is Mel and a Jedi Knight. Maybe that's just me, I don't know, but the male Jedi Knight is the first character that I've ever created on Star Wars The Old Republic. So, to me, that would be kind of the right move for Disney to make if they want to bring the Outlander into canon. I mean, they've already said that they want a Jedi to train Grogu. So it's no good a trooper, a smuggler, a bounty hunter, an Imperial agent, or a Sith training Grogu. Yeah, because for those of you who haven't played Star Wars The Old Republic, the Outlander can be any one of these characters, depending on what class you select when playing the game. I mean, obviously, like, the latest episode of The Mandalorian was absolutely awesome because, like, Boba Fett showed up, and obviously the child was taken to Tython. So that's why it makes perfect sense for Grogu to be trained by the Jedi Knight, because the Jedi Knight, Outlander, is also known as the hero of Tython. But there we go. And obviously, like, if the Outlander shows up in The Mandalorian, then Lana Beniko's Force Ghost could show up in The Mandalorian as well. Perfect opportunity to make her canon. I mean, even, like, Revan could show up in The Mandalorian, not necessarily as a Force Ghost, but he could be reincarnated somehow. And he could even train Grogu. Obviously, Ezra could show up and train Grogu. Or Kanan Jarrus's ghost could show up and train Grogu. For those who don't know, spoilers for Star Wars Rebels, Kanan actually gets killed. But yeah, if Ezra and Kanan show up in The Mandalorian, then I reckon Chopper, Zeb, Hera, and Sabine could show up as well. I mean, just imagine, like, Zeb in live action form. That would be awesome, but at the same time, quite funny, I think. Yeah. Obviously, like, the introduction of Sabine, that would be pretty relevant, because Sabine is a Mandalorian after all, and she has history with the Darksaber, which, of course, Moff Gideon has the Darksaber in The Mandalorian. So, obviously, like, Sabine would be hunting for the Darksaber. So, it would be logical for her to show up. I mean, we already know that Bo-Katan's searching for the Darksaber, and that's why she showed up in The Mandalorian. Who else could show up? Well, this guy from Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, I don't know what his name is, because I haven't played the game yet, but I'll probably end up playing the game soon, though. Yeah, he could end up training Grogu. Or even Starkiller from the Force Unleashed video games, he could end up training Grogu. Perfect opportunity to make Starkiller canon, because at the moment he's Legends. So, I mean, obviously it wouldn't be the original Starkiller, because the original Starkiller was killed, but it would be Starkiller's clone. I mean, that's how this whole thing could tie together. What with Starkiller Base being in The Force Awakens, and the cloning things to do with Snoke and Palpatine and stuff. So, yeah, we've already seen what looks like versions of Snoke in The Mandalorian, because they were in those tanks. Or maybe it wasn't versions of Snoke, it might have been versions of Palpatine. Because remember, in The Rise of Skywalker, Palpatine said, "I made Snoke." So, in order for clones of Snoke to be made, clones of Palpatine had to be made first. Obviously, if Starkiller shows up in The Mandalorian, then Juno could show up, and General Kota as well. That would be awesome if those characters were also made canon. And of course, Nathalie Cox and Sam Witwer could reprise their roles as Starkiller and Juno. Now, it is said that Palpatine took some of his inspiration for the Galactic Empire and various other things from the Sith Emperor Vitiate. Now, the Sith Emperor Vitiate operated during the time of the Old Republic, which was set before Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. But at the moment, I think Vitiate is Legends. I might be wrong, there might be a canon version of him. But in Legends, Vitiate ends up taking the body of this bloke, Valkorion. So he uses Valkorion as a vessel. And this Valkorion bloke, he's actually like the leader of the Eternal Empire. But at this point, like, the Sith Empire has failed, the Eternal Empire has failed, and in the latest expansion of Star Wars: The Old Republic that comes out next week, he's acting like he's won. But we were led to believe that the Outlander defeated him. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. I mean, maybe this thing could actually get deeper and more complex than we actually think. Like, maybe Palpatine didn't just take inspiration from Vitiate, maybe he actually is Vitiate. That would be a massive bombshell, wouldn't it? We're led to believe that this current Old Republic storyline is Legends, but what if it is actually canon? Or they're currently in the process of making it canon? I mean, it all depends, really, if Disney authorise BioWare to make their storyline part of canon. Palpatine says in The Rise of Skywalker, "I am all the Sith." So I guess that includes Vitiate, Revan, Malak, Malgus, and so many other Sith Lords. So let's take a look at this trailer for the Old Republic expansion that's coming out next week. I'm not sure what to make of that. I mean, who is the true face of power? Is it Vitiate? Is it Revan? Or is it Palpatine? I don't know. Just imagine if the true face of power was actually the child. I mean, the true face of power could be Malgus, because Vitiate could jump into Malgus's body. I would love the Imperial agent to show up in The Mandalorian, because he could be played by Bertie Carvel, just like in the Old Republic video game.